Number 7. Let me tell you about that Princess Tutu, you guys. The anime may have been made for kids, but that didn't stop it from being gripping and exciting and quite dramatic at times. I was surprised by the level of maturity I saw coming from this anime, with some shots even having actual blood in them. Well, it's not just the blood that makes them mature, but the characters are actually quite mature and tragic at times. Take the main character, for instance, Princess Tutu, aka Duck. Duck is a duck who got turned into a little girl by this undead author who wanted to fuck around with her. Princess Tutu is a character he wrote in his story, the only character who could save Prince Muto and put together the lost shards of his heart and restore him to his normal self. However, Duck is eager to help Prince Muto, even as a duck, and that's why she was chosen for this. Unfortunately, she happens to fall in love with Prince Muto, just as Princess Tutu would. Also, unfortunately, if she should ever confess her love to Prince Muto, she would disappear forever, fade into a beam of light, cease to exist. Confessing her love to the boy she loves means her death. That's actually quite tragic. Here is a little girl fighting to save someone that she loves, but with no hope of having her love returned, and no hope, for any kind of compensation. She's doing this out of the goodness of her heart and nothing more, because she can't have anything more. Things get even worse whenever she realizes she's just a puppet of the author, and he turns her back into a duck. And then, around the ends of the anime, she's powerless to help the boy she loves, because now she's nothing but a duck, the same as she was. She's a good girl, she's a good duck, she has an honest heart and stuff, and there are no sugar-coated fairy tale endings here with this character. She started this anime as a duck, and she ends this anime as a duck. Spoilers. And she does not get Prince Muto. The ending, however, isn't as dark and gloomy as I've made it out to be. If I were you, I'd check it out. And since I've already spoiled everything, let me just say that she ends up living happily as a duck with her new best friend, Fakir. And that's enough for her. Speaking of Princess Tutu, did I happen to mention the antagonist Kreihi, aka Rue? That was one of the most tragic characters I've ever freaking seen. Around the beginning of the anime, Rue comes off as snobbish and merely just an obstacle in Princess Tutu's way as she fights for the affections of Princess Muto. But as the anime progresses, it is revealed that she may be the Raven from the story, the Raven who split the prince's heart, the Raven who was his sworn enemy. She shows up later on as Princess Tutu's arch-nemesis, Kreihi, the Raven Princess, and she attempts to thwart Princess Tutu in trying to restore the prince's heart. What we don't know is that Kreihi is not the Raven from fiction at all, but she believes that Raven is her father. That Raven kidnapped her when she was a little bitty baby and raised her on a diet of raven's blood to make her part Raven. He then fed her head with lies, telling her that no one would ever love such an ugly girl like her except for he himself and Prince Muto, thus fueling her, need for the prince. He was the only one who will ever love her, or that's what she believes. This character is so tragic, and when she can't bring herself to hurt the prince anymore, the Raven turns on her, and turns on her quickly. It seems like there's no one in the world that can help Rue out. She was just so tragic. All she ever wanted was to be in love. She wanted that prince that she was promised. I cried for her, I'm not even gonna lie. I didn't think I'd like her at all. She looked like just another emo goth laser lord, but she wasn't. She was, I found myself caring for her a whole lot. And when Prince Muto chose to make Kreihi his princess and beloved wife, I actually cried for her, because she deserved a hero. And then she got one. Number 5. All good things must come to an end, and Cowboy Bebop did come to an end. Cowboy Bebop was one of the first animes I ever saw on Adult Swim. One of the first adult animes I ever saw, anyway. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. For the longest time, it was my favorite show ever. Now it's not the case, but I still recognize it as a classic. The crew of the Bebop were very likable. I loved tuning into their adventures and the stupid shit they got themselves into. But around the end of the series, I was very heartbroken to see Edward and Ein had left, or Ian, whatever, Edward and Ian left. Edward was a beloved character, and everyone will miss her. Her leaving kind of signified that the series would be closing up soon. And indeed it did. Then Spike left the Bebop to get revenge on Vicious, because Spike didn't get that girl, Julia. She was gunned down. Already, the crew of the Bebop had been depleted to only Faye and Jet. And, you know, they can't carry on the series with just those two, so the end was nigh. Spike went out like a friggin' champ, just busting caps in everyone's fucking ass and shit. Taking out that Animu bastard like a boss. Unfortunately, Spike did not survive his encounter, and the series ended when Spike did. Number 4. The Death of Genkai from Yu Hakusho. I was so surprised and horrified when I learned that Genkai had been killed. I actually missed the episode the first time around. The second time I saw it, it broke my heart. Genkai was Yusuke's mentor, and she meant a lot to him. I mean, and she was brutally murdered, too. I mean, I know that happens a lot in Kung Fu movies. The student's master will be killed, and the idea is to avenge him, but Genkai was a little old lady. You know, and it kind of like a second mother to Yusuke, since, you know, his mother was kind of not around a lot. And not only was she killed, and killed brutally, but she was killed by her former lover, and at that time, boss of the series, Toguro. And what makes this part really sad was that the impact her death had on everyone. Everyone felt that. Hiei, Kurama, Kuwabara, and Yusuke even went into denial for a while. It was just way too much for him to comprehend. You could feel how much they cared for her by how they reacted to her death. And, you know, I wonder how Toguro must have felt killing his former lover, you know. If you watch Yu Hakusho, you know Toguro is a man of many layers. And what's showing on the outside isn't always necessarily what's on the inside with that guy. And there's a lot showing on the outside. The end of the Dark Tournament saga did see the revival of Genkai, and I was most relieved and most joyed, and it was great. Everyone was so happy to see her again, so, yeah, that was great and all. I actually stopped watching Yu Hakusho after the Dark Tournament. I felt that ending was the perfect ending for the series, and I had no desire to see it go on any further.